There is a new hope in Somalia. The economy is slightly picking up. New investments are flowing in the country. Hundreds of Somali expatriates are putting faith in their country, returning to their hometowns and opening new businesses.
Somalia is building a future of optimism and prosperity with support from the European Union. The EU has hosted the Somalia Forum in Brussels to help Somalia take the next steps in its development. The conference welcomed more than 60 delegations, including participants from the African Union, the United Nations, and the countries of the Red Sea region.
It is our duty as an international community to support the people of Somalia's hope and the government's reform agenda. On the European side, I am glad to announce today an additional package of around 200 million euros in support of Somalia's stabilization.
The Somali government is committed to take greater responsibility to generate and disperse domestic revenue, to achieve debt relief, to strengthen security, to progressively shift from humanitarian aid to development support, and to prepare the path for Somalis to engage in a domestic process in 2020.
National elections are scheduled in 2 years, but security remains the biggest challenge. Through its 3 security and defence missions, the EU is strengthening Somalia's security sector, which was left devastated after decades of civil war. At the conference, the EU announced 114 million euros of additional funds to support the African Union mission in Somalia, training the Somali army in the fight against terrorists from Al-Shabaab, a branch of Al-Qaeda.
Shabaab has not been defeated yet. Political movement, political decisions are what are going to begin, and reconciliation are what are going to begin to reduce the foundations of Shabaab.
We need to coordinate better. We need to have a better exchange of information, particularly actionable intelligence.
We have been collaborating with Somalia to make sure that we deal with the terrorism in Somalia and by extension prevent the overflow of terrorist attacks into Kenya.
Greater stability will encourage economic development in a country facing the challenges of managing 2 million internally displaced people.
We come from basically a period of 3 decades of humanitarian crisis. In Somalia has gone from drought to drought, from flood to flood. The private investment in a country like Somalia has unlimited potential, because we come from very far.
We want to move from a continuous focus on humanitarian. We want to move towards making that link between development and humanitarian.
Economic development needs a clearer governance structure. The conference focused on supporting the Somali government to reform the constitution and to resolve issues of power sharing and allocation of resources.
I think it's very important for this country to come together and go forward together. Only if the issue of resource sharing is handled carefully and resources are shared equitably.
State building will only be successful when women hold political positions at all levels and participate actively in society.
We want to see more women getting into ministerial positions. We want to see more women aiming for more Director General, permanent secretaries at all sectors.
The forum agreed a mutual accountability framework, clarifying the responsibilities of Somalia to press ahead with reforms and setting out the duty of international partners to support the country's challenging transition to peaceful democracy.
We need your assistance for us to move forward. That's the mutual accountability. We do X and you do Y, and the two together we move forward.
Somalia, with EU support, but the Somalis' own work, is now getting access to the international financial institutions. It's about how every Somali citizen can feel that something is being delivered to them. It's got to be felt in the villages. That's the objective.